everybody. Welcome to Isles Talk, Season 7, Episode 17. I know a lot of things going on tonight. You know, NFL draft. If you're a Jets and Giants fan, I don't know why. If you're a Jets fan, I don't know why you're watching. It's just going to be pointless anyway. Giants, you got a little bit of hope. Knicks, yeah, wait till you face the Celtics. I don't know what to tell you guys. Look, the Mets, forget it. Yankees, yeah. It's April. I don't care. For those of you watching the Bridgeport Islanders and the Hershey Bears, I do apologize. This will be short. But we do have with us this very special guest. As always, we always appreciate his insight coming onto the show from Newsday, Mr. Andrew Gross. Andrew, how are you, bud?
Hey guys, good to talk to you. And yeah, I'm seeing Hershey's ahead 1-0 after one period in Hershey on Bridgeport. So that might be a very short best of three series, huh?
Yeah, looks like it's going to be. So, Andrew, another season in the books. Again, on behalf of all the Islander fans that are listening and will be listening, we thank you very much for all the great coverage you do. It's great to have a very, I won't say 100% positive, but you tell, again, like not a lot of some people I know in the media, you tell it like it is. And believe me, I think it's appreciated more than you know.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I just, it's a privilege getting to do what I do and be around the team and getting to connect, with the fan base. I love every minute of it. And, these first 2 or 3 weeks when the season ends, I'm as grumpy as anyone because I'm out of my routine. I'm not covering hockey. I literally don't know what to do with myself.
He's got to spend time with family now.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Andrew, I guess the biggest point that many fans are trying to take in and swallow is that unfortunate collapse of the team the last 12 games of the season. We've heard all of the talk coming, but just looking at it, with your blinders back off, if you will. Did it seem like the guys, some people are saying the guys kind of like fell back, but to me, they're professional athletes. And I just can't see some of the comments that people put out saying that these guys aren't trying.
No. If anything, but I mean, anyone going into those dressing rooms after games, you could, you'd see the frustration, the anger. And to the point, some players were left speechless. I mean, it was not for a lack of trying. It was A, for a lack of a power play. B, for a lack of a defensive structure at the end, and C, lack of legs. Look, everyone in the NHL had to play a ridiculous condensed schedule this season. For whatever reason, it caught up to the Islanders and bit them in the back end worse than most other teams. They just, by the end of the season, they were, you could see it. They just were not keeping up with other teams. And, that's something that Matthew Darsh certainly needs to address in the off season. You got, I was writing today, doing positional off-season analyses, looking ahead, projecting ahead. If they come back with the same six defensemen, you're looking at 4 of the 6 on the plus side of 30. Scotty Mayfield's going to be 34. Pellick and Pulak are both going to be 32. And they need some fresh legs in the back end specifically. I think that was one of the areas that they really got caught in this season.
Yeah, moving forward, speaking of your moving ahead and looking at some of the players, going with your gut here, who do you feel really isn't going to be on this team next season?
Well, I mean, let's start with Anders Lee. And even midway through the season, when they got to Minnesota and he hosted that pond hockey, event at his home, and for a lot of the players, that was the highlight of the season. Was that day in Minnesota, getting to skate in Anders Lee's backyard and the hospitality he showed. That day, I would have said there is 100% chance he comes back as captain. But as it's ground on, and we're getting towards, when a decision's going to have to be made, I think that the offer that Matthew Darsh winds up making to Anders Lee is is not going to be as lucrative, maybe as Anders Lee wants, as much as he wants to stay here. And I also think that Anders is going to explore his options. 14 seasons. Anders Lee is just, to me, he's like the mayor of Long Island. He is so ensconced in the community. He does so much, in terms of his charity work and working with the people in the community. But I just get the sense that this has come to an end. And, so I'll start there. I think
Okay.
they're going to move on from Anders, and Anders is going to move on from the Islanders. And, you know, getting past that, going down the lineup, it wouldn't shock me if, Kyle McLean is not back, if a Mark Gatcomb is not back. It wouldn't, as much as Matthew Darsh likes Andrej Palat, I don't know if you can move on from him. I don't. It wouldn't shock me if Anthony Duclair is not back, if he can find a taker, or if it's a
Right.
buyout. I think that's a relationship that's sort of hit a brick wall defensively. Like I said, you got a lot of 30 plus somethings there. So,
Yeah, we just found out Bridgeport just tied the game at 1.
oh, good for them.
Yeah, I don't know who scored. Do you, Paul?
Not yet. We'll find out. We'll get told by in the chat room.
Okay. I mean, I from what you're saying, Andrew, and I think again, it's really reiterated that this team, as through most of the Lamoriello years and this year, with some exceptions, is still an old and slow team. So
I mean, Matthew Schaefer makes you faster and younger, but overall, when you add an Andrej Palat and you add a Carson Soucy and you add a Braden Shen to the lineup, it did get slower at that point. And by the way, it looks like it was Matt Luff who scored the
With the
goal.
goal. Correct.
no,
Matt left
okay.
to score. Yep.
But that brings me to my point, because I was trying to get in that with Braden Shen. I'll use Claire as the example, because she went to the season ticket holder practice right after Shen was brought over. And what impressed her very much was, the guys were working around, and it was just Shen and Cal Ritchie working on face-offs together. So it was kind of, I don't know. I wonder if it was just basically told, listen, Braden, I want you to go to Cal Ritchie, and I want you to, like, he was the pet project the last 6 weeks of the season. And to just Braden's credit, I think Cal Ritchie improved tremendously. And I'm not just talking the offensive game. I'm talking everything. The whole 200-foot game, I think Cal got so much improved. And even though they didn't score the other night in Bridgeport, you can see the confidence coming out of his pores. What's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% correct in the chemistry that Shen and Ritchie quickly developed. You saw it on the power play with Ritchie becoming a net front presence and working down low. And Braden Shen worked a lot with him on that after practices, just, pounding the puck down low and working on that kind of chemistry. I think Pete DeBoer, when he came in, I thought it was a smart move. He moved Cal Ritchie back to the middle, moved Braden Shen to the wing, and he did the same with Matt Barzell. He moved Matt Barzell in the middle, and Pete, when he was asked about it, said, you want your fastest skaters in the middle. So, I think Cal Ritchie certainly projects here as a center, and moving forward, I think you're going to see Braden Shen on the wing. I thought Braden Shen, regardless of whether a first round pick was sent to St. Louis for him, it's Colorado's pick, and that could be the 32nd pick. So I'm not really concerned about that. I thought Braden Shen added a lot to the room in terms of leadership, and if you're talking about a room that's without Anders Lee, you're going to need that as well. Although I would think Bo Horvat sort of becomes the carekeeper captain until Matthew Schaefer is ready to assume the C. But I like Braden Shen in that room, and I'm very excited about where they can go with Cal Ritchie. I don't think he projects certainly as a top line center in the NHL, but he can certainly be a second line center. It was very interesting. I went up to Bridgeport for game one against Hershey on Tuesday, and I asked Rocky Thompson about Cal Ritchie after the game, and Rocky, after praising Victor Eklund and Cole Iserman's efforts, what he noticed about Cal Ritchie was he thought Cal was trying to be a little too cute in that Bridgeport game, and he just wanted Cal Ritchie to have more of a shoot first mentality, and I think that's something to watch out for next season.
Good. Two-part question for you, Andrew. What were your thoughts going into the season with this team? And when did you start to see, I don't want to say the wheels fall off, but when did you really start getting concerned about the Islanders making the playoffs?
It was probably, look, as I was reminded by someone the other day, someone emailed me and said, Andrew, your preseason prognostication was they were going to miss the playoffs. So, you were right on with that. I was like, well, I certainly took the long way around to get there. I think it was that when they just didn't have the oomph in the third period at Ottawa, and they allowed Kachuk to score in the closing seconds, they lose that game 3-2. I was like, that's a really bad one. You really could have, stomped on Ottawa and really ended their playoff hopes right there. And then, they sort of did the opposite. And then when they went to Montreal and they were non-competitive, the last 30 minutes of the game or so, that was a real red flag to me. And certainly, I mean, the one we all I guess the two we all look at was the 8-3 loss to the Penguins at UBS Arena, where it was like, oh my God, this team really isn't going to make the playoffs. And then when they lost 4-1 to the Flyers, that's when I thought this was a shot team that was trying, but just didn't have anything left in the tank.
So basically, he's saying because the Booster Club went to Montreal, it was our fault that we screwed the playoffs.
No. If anything, you guys kept him in the game the first 30 minutes. So
that's true. Well, once Matt.
By the way, the Booster Club is now 0-2 when going up to Montreal watching the Islander game. Yeah, they're 0-2. So we lost Gary there for a moment. He'll be right back. Yes, Montreal, Robin, was a total collapse as well. Give me your thoughts, Andrew, on game one of Bridgeport. What did you think of the team, and who stood out for you?
Victor Eklund draws your eyes when you're watching him. First, he draws your eyes because you're like, wow, he really is a small hockey player. He's smaller than I remembered him at the draft. He's a small player, but he doesn't shy away from the physicality at all. Good. So he impresses me. I think he has good on ice vision. I think he's a guy that's going to be able to play in the NHL. Cole Eisman, I'd like to see him move his feet a little bit more and get free for, to unleash his shot a little bit, in some better time and space
Right.
areas. Isaiah George, like Pete DeBoer said, he's an NHL defenseman. But there are guys on Bridgeport, and this is stuff that Matthew Darsh was talking about at the end of the season. Dalen Keifler has had a really good season, someone to
Yes.
watch out for, and Adam Beckman is someone that they really like. Even Liam Foudy is a player that they really, really like. And, I I always like Travis Mitchell. Whether he's an
Yes.
NHL defenseman or he's sort of a 4A defenseman, I'm not sure yet. But there's a lot to like there. And look, Marshall Warren, just because of who he is he's become one of my, favorite guys to be around and to cover. And I certainly hope that he gets another crack at playing for the Islanders as well.
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah. So just actually going back to the team. Um, what looking at the way the roster is set up in Bridgeport now, is there anybody, just continuing what we were saying, is there anyone on the radar that you can say to yourself, you know what, watch September, because of the way they've played in Bridgeport, there's somebody that really could sneak in. I know you mentioned Beckman, and he had a 30-goal season, much to the surprise of many people. Do you think that a guy like that could have a possible shot of making this team if they have a great summer and get prepared and do the right things?
Yeah, I don't, look, I mean, Matthew Darsh knows that you got to get younger legs in there. So I think, any and all candidates that can show out are going to be given a good look. You got, the Alex Jeffries, Cam Thiesings, I don't know whether they're going to be, serious candidates or not. The one guy I'm really, I want to take a good look at him in development camp and rookie camp in September is the goalie, Josh Cote, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You are.
Yeah.
Yep, my pronunciations have been known to be wildly off base, but
Right.
look, the Islanders need goaltending depth in the organization, not just at the NHL level.
Right.
I don't think Tikkanen is going to be back within the organization. Marcus Hogberg, who's starting a second straight playoff game. Look, we've seen him in the NHL. He's an AHL goalie for the Islanders, right?
Right.
We know that Ilya Sorokin got overworked down the stretch because the coaching staff lost their trust in David Riddick. And who knows whether Riddick gets re-signed to another 1 year deal. And, I was also in Bridgeport when Semyon Varlamov was able to come back and play his first game.
Right.
And, for a guy who has had two partial knee replacements, one in each knee, he was getting up and down like an NHL goalie. The issue with him, and this was because he hadn't played a game in 517 days, was
Right.
he was off his angles on one of the goals, and that's just rust, and he'll figure that out
Correct.
in a game
Right.
situation. Is Varley a viable candidate? Well, if he is, that solves, probably the backup goalie situation. But you still need to get depth in the organization. So that's why I really want to see, what Josh Cote can do.
Cool. Gary.
One last one for me, Andrew. So just on a personal note, so what does a hockey beat writer do during these 5 months in between the end of the season and camp?
Well, I mean, I'm working on a 4-part analysis of what happened during the season and what's going to happen. There's going to be news. June will be busy between the draft and then, the combine, the draft, and then you go into development camp and right into free agency. I'm also hoping to get up to Saratoga for the Belmont Stakes. I always dip my toes into some horse racing coverage. Um, but I'll tell you what, at my age and how long I've been doing this, Newsday compensates me fairly with vacation and other time off. So pretty much from, July 4th to Labor Day, I work a teacher's schedule.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
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 Very nice.
So listen, my final question for you, Andrew. I know you got to go. I was listening to your podcast, which we will promote in a minute, with you and Colin Stevenson. It was the glass half empty, glass half full. All
Yeah.
depends on what's in the drink, right? So
Yeah.
all depends on what's in the drink at this point. Moving ahead, um, are you more of the glass half full, glass half empty, or are we still deciding what's in that drink?
Look, I'm going to fall back on Pete DeBoer's, history and track record. And that is he comes in, he organizes things very quickly, even with teams that you don't expect to be, very, very good, really good, like the Devils in 2012. They had pieces there. They had Zach Parisi there, Ilya Kovalchuk, Marty Brodeur was still there. You had pieces, right? You didn't expect him to be a cup final team by any stretch of the imagination. I think Pete comes in, he's got a win now mentality. He's very detailed oriented, sort of just like when Barry Trotz came in. That's sort of the boost I'm expecting.
Okay.
So I really, do I expect them to be a playoff team next season? Yes, I do, and that's because I do trust Pete DeBoer and what the immediacy and what he instantly brings to an organization. Um, so I'll say they're a playoff team. Are they a cup contender? I got to see what Matthew Darsh does in the offseason.
Fair. Good, Gary.
Well, Andrew, listen, we'll let you go because I know you got things you're doing with your family, but we appreciate the amount of time you were able to bring us. If we don't get to talk to you, enjoy the off season, and we definitely look forward to seeing you once the season gets underway.
No, guys, I really appreciate you having me on. And, Gary, you always know where to catch me. And it's always great catching up with you and Claire. So thanks for all the fun times during the season.
My pleasure. And listen, if the Booster Club does run a trip and you need a hotel, let me know, okay?
You got it, buddy.
All right. Take care.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Again, that was Andrew Gross from Newsday, a very good friend of the show. And again, he tends to, like I said, be very honest and truthful, but he wants to see this team succeed. And I really think he's got a deep like for the players. The comments he made about Anders, not that it's shocking me, but I again, I'm going to try to play this as much down the middle as I can. Are you there? It's tough when a player is synonymous with a team. Someone who's played their entire career in one organization. And the fact that despite all the loyalty and everything what Anders has done for his career as an Islander, if he's going to look elsewhere, that's still, for people that are fans of his, and I know not everybody is, but for those that are, that's a hard pill to swallow. You think?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're this close to 1,000 games, but we just saw it with Brock Nelson.
We saw it with Josh Bailey. He didn't play as 1,000.
Saw it with Josh Bailey. Yeah.
Matt Martin, 10 games short. Those kind of, again, that's where the more of the person hockey fan, more than
Right.
The fan of the game comes in for me. And, you want to see those things happen to guys that bust their rear ends for one organization. They should be able to get to enjoy the fruits of something special like that.
Right.
But again, a lot of other decisions. I mean, I wasn't, again, Andre Palat's best minute as an Islander was his first minute of an Islander, and that was pretty much it. That move obviously was bad. Carson Soucy, there were a couple of moments of good, but it filled a body. But I think I would have rather had George or Warren up here, to be honest. I mean, George has played enough games last year to warrant the opportunity. But I still believe that Braden Shen brought exactly what Braden Shen's definition is. Everybody thought of that trade and they said, oh, they gave up a first round pick. He better be a 35 goal scorer. Look at his stats. He's never been a 35 goal scorer.
Not at the 30th overall, not the 32nd overall.
No, 20-45, but 200 foot, can win a faceoff, can hit, will defend his teammates. He did exactly what his definition is. And the training and the development with Cal Ritchie is icing on the cake. So to me, we got exactly what we were going to get from him. And I think you'll get exactly the same thing next year. Plus, as Andrew says, you got another leader in the locker room. If Andrew leaves and Bo obviously I think would take the C next. You've got Paul Mary back, you've got Braden Shen, and of course, if you need it, you got Ryan Pulak as the other A. So you've got you've got good leadership in the room. And the one thing people forget about, and not that forget about, but it's a fact that doesn't come into play. But to me, we just picked up a free agent without even having to acquire a free agent because we get Alexander Romanov back.
Right.
That's almost like a free agent signing because he missed 60 games, right?
And Paul Mary, you can say the same with Paul Mary as well.
And Paul Mary missed 50 games. So you've got a potential 25 goal scorer back in the fray. You got your most physical defenseman to me back in the play. So you don't need Soucy anymore. I mean, Mayfield is just not going to be able to be trade bait, but this is where you hope that a Marshall Warren, that a
Isaiah George,
possibly a Cole McWard or a Travis Mitchell can have the summer of their lives and make it scary to make the team.
Right.
What do you think?
I think I'm loving everyone's opinion on, even in the chat. I'm liking a lot of this stuff, and I agree with some. I think this could be a summer where there's going to be probably one, maybe two players who are going to get told, have the camp of your lives, have the summer of your lives, get ready, because you're going to be given an opportunity. We don't know who that is, but I'm sure some of them have been told you need to be ready. And I think camp's going to be very, very exciting. But I got to be honest with you, bud. This season in particular, you and I had probably the most agree to disagree moments since we've known each other, and we've known each other now for quite some time.
When I had a lot of
give me your thoughts. Yeah. Give me your thoughts on this season.
Well, you and I both in September said we were going to fall short. If you just look at it from the final day and look at it, we were right. We ended up a few points short of the playoffs, just where we thought they were. But I didn't think we would be getting there the way we did.
Okay.
Obviously, the biggest thing we disagreed on was some 18-year-old kid coming and playing for this team, and you didn't want him here. And
Yep.
Needless to say, I won that one.
You did.
I did, and believe me, I understood everything you were saying. It's not like I wasn't disagreeing with you. I just felt, to me, I'm always thinking that this organization, because of its reputation and its lack of familiarity, lack of respect from the rest of the league, needed this in the worst way possible. The fact that we got the number one pick, just made everybody shake their heads. Oh, they're going to get Matthew Schaefer. And what did we know? We thought, well, maybe he might make the team. We only played 17 games last season. Maybe he may, maybe not. And you were under that light. And the 2 games I saw in preseason, I kept saying, you know what? He might just make this team. And if he makes this team, he's going to make a statement. And boy, oh boy, did it not take long. And I have to say, and I haven't seen anything to tell me this, but it's got to be, if they look at jersey sales throughout the league, he's got to be top 3.
No, actually, he wasn't even in the top 10.
Are you kidding?
No, as a matter of fact, it's on Hooked on Hockey magazine. They had the top 10 jersey sales. He was not in the top 10.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's every third jersey in the building.
He will be.
Yeah, he will be. He will be. But that caused a lot of people to kind of almost hedge the bet, and say, maybe they might just make it. And again, for 66 games, it looked that way. And to me, we've talked about it. The Dallas game at home, I thought was one of their best games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
A solid effort all the way around, a good 2-1 win. From there, I'm thinking, if we could beat Dallas, we can really do something. And again, I'll never know the answer. No one will know the answer. We could speculate all we want, and I'm sure people on the boards have done it 10 million times. But it seemed like the systems that they were playing dramatically changed after that game, to the point where it didn't look like the same Islander team. I like the smile on your face.
Yeah, that's a prelude to my season finale. My personal season finale. I love this. Andrew has touched a little bit on it. You are now touching a little bit on it. It is literally a don't blame Gary moment, but because of the previous show that we did, we were allowed to get info, which I'm not allowed to say yet. But on the final show, yes. Continue with what you're saying, because I want to see how far you can take this.
No, it's just the point.
They did not look like the same team. They did not look like the same. That is absolutely correct.
They were not pursuing the puck the way they were doing. Andrew said their skates seem to be a little bit slower. I will definitely agree with that.
Right.
There were too many instances where it seemed like when they're in their zone and they're defending a shot on the half wall, that 3 guys would go to a player. Right. Why? I have no idea. There was no need for it. You had guys basically, they could have pressed their skates into the ice and put a hole in it. They were there so long and left wide open for opportunities. Oh, right. Thanks, Matt. pain in the ass. But yeah, you just saw it building up and building up and building up into a crescendo.
Right.
And like I said, when we were at the Montreal game, Schaefer got that goal. We were tied. And I didn't say it, but all I kept thinking was, did we just wake up a sleeping giant? And that giant is 5'9" Cole Caulfield that just basically woke up after that point.
Right.
And from that point on, all I kept thinking in my head is, they're going to just do my prediction. They're going to fall short. And, part of me says, financially, I'm like, well, I don't have to spend, $800 for the two games, the 3 games in playoffs, plus parking and everything else that goes with it. But, you want playoffs. That's the bottom line. You always want the playoffs.
Right.
So instead of having my blood pressure skyrocket with my team losing in the first round, I'm actually able to enjoy the playoffs. And so far the last week we have, and
love them.
My wife is so nice to allow me to watch just about every minute of playoffs we can.
Loved it.
It's been fun. But going back to the team, everybody was thrilled game 50, game 55, where we were with Matthew. And, come game 80, they're all like, ready to storm the castle. This was year 1. Okay. As an overall point of this organization, not necessarily thinking about the hockey itself, but the culture, the whole viewpoint of the organization, excluding ownership, going from Matthew Darsh down. As an organization, they've improved a lot. I was going to say maybe threefold, but no, they've improved a lot. Their communication is better. Their interaction is better. It's not perfect. It's not 1990s. I can talk to every player and see them and all this other stuff, but it has improved. Their image has improved. So that's, whether you think about it or not, that's also a part of the Matthew Darsh equation. It's not just necessarily the hockey team, but it's the perception of the hockey team, A, to the league, and B, to the community. And I think, A, the New York Islanders are now becoming a possible destination for players. When has any fan in this organization that's been a fan as long as you or I have ever been able to say that sentence and mean it? Okay? That's happening. Guys are now looking at the Islanders. Braden Shen didn't have the Islanders on his no trade list. And what did he do? Said, go ahead. That's a start. That helps for not now, but helps in 2031. When you got a guy 20, now it's 24, it's going to be 28 in 4 years, and says, where am I going to want to play? You know what? They got a great facility on Long Island. They got a beautiful arena on Long Island. They got a stud on defense wearing number 48 to lead to make things better. Granted, we didn't make the playoffs. Darsh may not have done the right things in the trade deadline, but there are a lot of other things that are going to improve the organization as a whole. The fact that you're going to have a team in Hamilton, Ontario, where they're going to draw like crazy, and
that's huge.
And that's even more huge for the players.
Yeah.
I mean, Bridgeport we love, granted, it's been our home for 25 years, but it's like playing in a dark, dingy nothing. They're going to play in a brand new building, basically, pretty much NHL ready.
Yeah.
And they're going to have 10,000 fans a game. And that's going to help their confidence. It's going to help their abilities. It's going to help Rocky Thompson. as those guys get groomed and get ready to come up. So we may not be in a playoff spot, but I still think that this season, even despite the last 10 games crashing, is a positive.
Beautiful. Well said, my friend. Well done.
I was working on it on the train, man.
He's lying because I didn't even tell him he was doing this until like 15 minutes before the show.
Hey. I'm the emeritus. I know all and tell all.
That's why I called you the emeritus. That was actually good. That was actually pretty good. Oh, here we go. Now he's getting cocky. Here we go. Gonna be probably his.
No, it's not his hometown. Stony Creek's his hometown.
Whose hometown?
Schaefer. Everybody says.
Oh yeah. I was also thinking of Matt Luff too. Luff is also from Hamilton, I think.
Yeah, but he's from Stony Creek. There's a difference.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, and Johnson. I did not know that. Well done. Okay.
Yes.
John Tonelli. Okay. All right. So
water cooler. So it is now, by the way, it is now 3-1 Hershey with 4 minutes and 19 left in the second.
It is now water cooler talk time. Trade Pellick and Pullock immediately.
Oh yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that. Pullock, again, I got to give him some props. Playing with a shoulder injury as well, pretty much throughout the entire season. And there was another injury he had, but, you know, he battled through. Pellick, I can't necessarily disagree with, but I'm kind of with Robin here at the moment. Who's going to replace them?
Yeah,
that's going to be it. You know, and it depends. And
again, not really, as I said before, you have one immediate replacement that you get Romanov back. So that is a replacement for one. For the other, you're not going to get value for him. I mean, that's the problem. And that unfortunately was a Lube mistake, not a Matthew Darsh mistake, for giving him the money and the length that makes him almost untradeable. Right. You have to think about that. It's very easy to say trade Pullock immediately, but you want to get a value for him. You don't want to get dumped on for nothing. You know, think about it. I mean, you know, it's a different scale, but you know, Panarin went to LA and basically the Rangers got nothing for him. And they were talking the same thing about Austin Matthews. They have no trade clauses, and I think Pellick has it too. You're not going to get much value for him. So that's what you have to weigh the up and down with, is whether sure you can get rid of him, but you want to get something in return. You don't want a 4th round draft pick or something like that. You want some value for him. He is whether you like it or not, was an all-star defenseman.
Yeah. Looked at Palat's contract. It's actually more cap friendly to buy him out than to keep him for next year. I'm gonna throw this one out here for you guys. I think Palat stays for one. I think he's gonna finish off the season. I'll explain more about that. It appears Hershey's about going to win. If Hershey wins tonight, I'm probably going to do a show on Saturday with my own little season ending. Give my thoughts and whatnot. It's far more extensive, and it's going to give you guys.
It's the ultimate don't blame Gary show because he won't be on.
That's also true. Yeah, that'll also be true. But I don't see Palat getting traded. I don't know about Mayfield. Again, the CBA is going to be brand new. I don't know if there's going to be any compliance buyouts. That would probably be the only way it works. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, if you want an NHL roster, Joe, you're not going to get it from Bridgeport. They're not ready yet. If you're just going to go for picks and whatnot, the kids aren't ready. Isaiah George might be ready. Isaiah George can't stay healthy. Isaiah George has not played a full NHL season since he's turned pro. So if you want a number 2 for Pellick, okay. What are you going to do when Isaiah George gets injured? Who are you bringing up? No one else is ready. Unless you want to tank the season. I'm with you on that. That's fine. But there's not enough depth in this organization yet. And free agency, free agency blows. Yeah.
Yeah, forward-wise is not bad. Defensively, needs work.
Right. We're not disagreeing. We know that we know the defense needs help. I'm saying there's not a lot of help at the moment. Look, if he can pick it up, go for it. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're eventually going to be displaced. But the question is, can the younger players stay healthy now? I haven't seen a healthy season yet. Okay, same thing. George and Romanoff, but they're both left-handed defensemen. Granted, Isaiah George has played some right-handed. But now who's left? Who's left?
We don't have any defensemen on the college route either, right?
No. One from Wisconsin, one from Providence. They're not.
But you're still talking way far.
Yeah, there we got one in Cornell. He's got promise, but not there yet.
Right, but I'm not talking high visibility in college.
Yeah. And look, I'm not disagreeing here, Joe, but I think this offseason is where we're really going to find out a little bit more about Matthew Darsh. This is the offseason I've been waiting for. Believe it or not, I'm not even worried about the trade deadline and what happened. I'm not even worried about the trade deadline. What I want to see is what he does this offseason, because then we're going to get a really good idea of the type of GM Matthew Darsh wants to be. That's what I'm looking for. And that's why I asked Andrew, is the cup half full? Is the cup, is the cup empty, or what's in the cup? Me personally, I'm ready to sit there and drink whatever's in the cup and just watch what happens at the moment. Aitchison and Hamilton, yes. And the Islanders, no.
No, 100% in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Again, offensively, he's talented as hell, but he still has his problems marking his man in the defensive zone. Yes, he hits. We know his hitting display, but his defensive game needs work. Okay, the offense will always be there. I can, he literally, to me, reminds me of Ovechkin on a power play. He just sits at that right. It's amazing, but yeah, he needs to get a little, as somebody just wrote here, get a little bit more mature and get a little bit more responsible in his defensive game. I'm not saying he can't, Tom. No way. He's got the ability. It'll happen. It's not happening tomorrow. Everybody wants him up here now. The answer is 100% no. Give it a year.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
The only person that I really think, obviously, that has a real legitimate shot of staying next year is Eklund. Because a lot of the things I saw highlights in Sweden, again, he doesn't care how big that person is he goes into the corner with. A lot of times he's either coming out with the puck or coming up with some kind of an advantage. And some of these guys are 40, 50 pounds heavier than he is. He's got a gift. the only hope is that he can harness it. And if his brother's doing it, I don't see any reason why he can't either. And they say he's better than his brother.
Can Peter DeBoer do what Trotz did for the defensive structure when he took over? God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm right. We're right with you there, Mark. Yeah, defensive structure is going to be the key. I'll go this. I'll go this route. Will this defensive structure save some of these veterans for one more year? Who's going to fit in Peter DeBoer's system? We're going to find out this summer.
Yeah, the only watermark on Peter DeBoer is sometimes his handling of goaltenders. We all know what happened with Ottinger last year. Islander fans would know. We know what happened with the situation with Robin Lehner in Vegas a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing that I'm worried about. But I think, as Andrew aptly put it, he seems to be a quick starter.
Right.
That the guys get the memo, just like they did with Barry Trotz. Message from Mark. How's Hayden doing? He'll know what I'm talking about.
Which guys, McLean or Gacom, will be better next year? Better question. Are both those players going to be on the team next year?
Here next year.
Will they even be here? There's a lot of question marks moving forward here, folks.
Yeah, the question is, how's that fourth line gonna shape up?
Eklund, Yzerman, Ritchie, Heineman, Holmstrom need to begin every game next year. Why do you want this team to lose?
No.
Come on, Joe. Why do you want this team to lose?
Take Yzerman off the list. Please take him off the list. You can replace that name Yzerman with Wahlstrom if you're going to talk like that. You remember Oliver Wahlstrom? Do you remember what happened to him? Do you want the same thing happening to Cole Yzerman that happened to Oliver Wahlstrom? That's great.
For right now, if he were to start in the NHL, he's on that track. I will say this about Yzerman. He has looked better in Bridgeport right now than when Wahlstrom first started in Bridgeport.
Agreed, but
definitely better.
Has a long way to go.
And even he has admitted that.
Yep.
Who can replace Gatcomb and McLean? I'm going to go Brush is stealing this already because we had this conversation. I would not mind Max Jones from Edmonton. Fourth liner, skater, big boy, a little bit of a beast, can put up some points, especially with a player like Casey Zizekas or even JG Pajot. Trust me, Joe, there's 50 years of Islanders history that will show. If you play all those rookies now, the Islanders are not going to make the playoffs. And I'll do that on Saturday. It's one of the reasons why the Islanders did not make the playoffs this year. You can't play all those young. You can definitely do Heineman. Ritchie, I'm going to hold off on. I don't know if Ritchie's going to start the season with the Islanders. Eklund, I don't think so either. Holmstrom's there. Holmstrom and Heineman are definitely going to be there. Richie, is it going to be? But I've got my own reasoning for that.
I'd say he's 70-30 here. I think he's earned it. The last 20
Agreed.
games. If he didn't have the last 20 games that he had, I'd say you're 90% right. But I think he played himself on.
But do you want him as a winger or a centerman?
If you have Shen with him, I can put him either position.
Ooh, he's got a 33% face-offs in the
I
NHL
know
right
that,
now.
but again, I have a feeling that's going to improve.
Ooh. By playing left wing?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's going to be coming up on Saturday, folks.
Well, hey, remember I was 1-for-1 in a prediction against you last year. I can be 1-for-1.
That's true. Yeah, lightning strikes every once in a while, maybe twice. We'll see what happens. Look, I'm not against him playing left wing. I'm not, but we also have to see what Anders Lee's going to do. We have to see if they can actually trade Anthony Duclair. Pajot's here.
And also everybody forgets about Pierre Engvall too.
Pierre Engvall's here. Yeah, like let's make some moves first. Not yet. Not yet. 3-1 Hershey, end of 2. Before the conclusion of the playoffs, I'm going to say no. I mean, maybe Anders Lee would agree to a contract, but we said, months ago, guys, Anders Lee staying is going to be a personal decision. That was months ago. It's still the ball's in his court. So whenever if he wants to sign, that's fine. Whenever that is. That's probably, maybe coaching staff decisions. I think that would be the only other thing. I can't see them doing much after that. I get this. I get it. But the question is, does Matthew Darsh want him to come, play center? He can't do center when he's doing left wing. That's going to be up to Matthew Darsh. It's going to be up to Peter DeBoer. That's the only case I'm making here. If they want him to be a center, what is he doing at left wing? You can be a center and play left wing. Can't be a winger and play center. But that's going to be on Saturday's show, depending on what Bridgeport does. And yeah, Varley's a great question. I'm with Andrew on that. There was some rust, but I'm not going to lie, guys. He looks like he's been ready to go now for like a month or two. Solid month or two. Cap situation, I think, is the only reason why Varley couldn't come back. That would have been interesting. Can he play 30 games? I don't know. But for the time that he was playing, he did not look bad. He really didn't. We do call-ins. Not tonight because Gary's getting tired. You want to call in? We'll do it. I've got no problem.
Yeah,
Next show, next Saturday. Probably the Saturday. We'll see what happens with Bridgeport. If they lose tonight, I'll do my show on Saturday. You guys can come in. We can do one big season romp together during water cooler talk. I'll bring you all in. That's fine. Varlamov will be ready. He's got to have a great summer.
Yeah.
He's got, like a lot of the kids, like a lot of everybody else. Yeah, that's it. Joe, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link in the comments section here. You punch in, you make sure your camera's on. I take care of the rest. And there's no bashing on my part. We all have like great conversations in here. That's why everyone's here. There's,
yeah,
not going to call you an idiot or a moron.
No, we can respectfully disagree, and that's fine.
I call Brush an idiot. I call Brush an idiot because he's earned it. Okay, he's the only one.
Oh no, we got a guy up in Alberta that's the same way.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, but he's not here.
Yeah, that's true. That's why it's been nice and quiet.
I'm all for making Gary cringe, but he's not going to be there Saturday.
No.
So
Got things to do.
So,
Boss has got things to do. So,
oh, he's drunk. He can't even spell. See? Told you. He's an idiot. He's texting. He's drunk. So, all right. Any other serious questions, boys and girls, before we go? What UFA do I think they will go after?
I haven't even looked at the list, so I have no idea.
I have. I think you have to go after another playmaking winger. Again, Anders Lee, Anthony Duclair, they're all going to play a role in this. So let's all agree on that for a moment. I think they have to go after a playmaking left winger. And I would not. I'm also going to see if they can create another fourth line for Casey. A little more size, a little more grit. Maybe put up more than 10 points in the season, if you know what I mean, Anthony. Just one, no, I think they're going to be able to do. Excuse me. And I'm going to go a goalie. Again, Varley's going to be that question mark, but I think they're going to bring some goalies in just in case. I think what you're going to see is a lot of minor league depth just in case as well. And I wouldn't mind a seventh defenseman just for the depth.
But not 33 years old.
Right. I mean, seventh defenseman depth, but if he doesn't make the team, he can still score some points in the American League. So no one's losing anything. That's probably somewhere I would go. And again, give the kids an opportunity to win something in camp. Daxon Rudolph, first round pick. Yes, my problem, Robin, is that Daxon Rudolph has been moving up in the draft now. Supposedly, he's not going any less than 10th. So I go with the drafts. Everything's moving at this point. Don't even bother yet. Wait until after the combine. That would be my suggestion at this point. Foodie? Should he be re-signed? Yes. Will he? Not sure.
Well, I think he might be the one to inevitably replace Chris Terry because isn't Terry's last year this year?
Yeah. Do I think Lee's going to be back?
2 months ago, I would have said 90-10. I'm saying now, I'm going to say 55-45.
Okay. I'm just going to go yes.
I think what Lee's going to have to realize is that looking at JT, he took a team-friendly deal to re-sign in Toronto. I would hope in his heart of hearts, if he wants his 1,000th game as an Islander and, all that, kind of story and to build up the numbers in the record books for the organization, I think he should take a similar kind of a deal. They're the same age, not the same number of points, obviously, because JT has over 1,000. But I think if you get it like a $9 million deal, I think that would be good. Is he worth 7? No. But if you can get him for 2 for 9, I would hope he'd jump at it.
Listen, I don't think Vegas makes a trade with us for Rasmus Anderson. Just because I think Vegas loses that deal anyway. But it's my understanding that they're just waiting on another LTIR. However that process goes, and then once they get that LTIR money, Anderson is signing. I haven't heard anything different yet, but I guess there's a handshake deal already in place. Unless Anderson suddenly doesn't want to be there, but he's been wanting to be there now for years. So I'm not even counting on Anderson, and we don't have it unless we're trading Matthew Schaefer for Anderson. I don't see that happening.
No.
This is something I wanted to bring up, Gary, and this is for the rest of you as well. Desperately need a right-handed defenseman. Matthew Schaefer does know how to play right-handed defense, and he's not out of place.
No. Is there anything he can't do? Maybe like Chinese checkers or something? Or
Put up
maybe when he
24
beats
goals.
him at maybe when he beats him at that too.
Put up 24 goals.
Oh, ooh, you're brutal.
I'll get yelled at for that. I'll
Oh,
get
you
yelled at for
should
that.
be. You
I
should
will
be.
be. I know I will be.
Yeah, but
So,
right-handed defensemen are kind of like almost like
you got to draft him.
like left-handed relievers in baseball.
Yeah.
They're
You got to
hard
draft them.
commodity to get. And if you
Yeah.
get one, you got to hold on to it with dear life.
Right.
But I like this. I was very pleased with Tony D'Angelo this year.
Absolutely.
Really
Absolutely.
was. Model citizen, considering what everybody has said about him over the past in his career, I think he's been a model citizen. To me, has fought for his teammates, defended his teammates when anything went down. He's not afraid of a challenge. And I like the way he controls the puck. Matthew's got the speed, but Tony's got shiftiness to him that you don't see with a lot of defensemen. And, in a lot of cases, I think he got, I don't want to say unlucky, but there's a lot of situations where he did, frankly. And,
even his defense got
I
better,
think his point number should have been better. What?
I thought Tony T's defense was better this year, too.
Much better. Oh, yeah, no question.
Oh, yeah.
No, I just think his offensive numbers could have been better. I think he just got some bad breaks. He made some great opportunities to get people the puck and just no luck. He should have had a hell of a lot more assists than he should have.
Mm-hmm. So, any other questions, comments, concerns?
I will make sure I say a prayer on Saturday morning before you go online.
Just pray for them. That's all.
Just remember, season 7, episode 18 will be called the Don't Blame Gary Show.
Well, we're going to partially blame you. We're going to partially blame you. So, all right. Before we say our good nights here and our goodbyes, season 7, episode 18 is going to be the last one, probably until the draft. Again, not only did Gary and I not have the Islanders making the playoffs, Joe and I went a step further, and we honestly did not feel they were going to be relevant at all this year. And as the season went on, Matthew Schaefer definitely changed my mind about that. But as far as the rest of the team went, there were still some things that did not get me to change my approach or idea or attitude about the team. And a lot of it had to do with the NHL itself. Some of it was internal with the Islanders, but I want to bring together the naysayers, and I'll call them my loyalists. I'm going to bring you all together here because I want to show you guys and bring you into my world a little bit why I never thought, even when the Islanders were in second place in the division, why I never thought the Islanders were going to make the playoffs, even at that point. And I think I want to try to show you guys what I'm seeing for next year as well. And this is only going to, trust me, this is just one more year. If the Islander fans have to go through this one more time, it's only going to be for one more year, like at most. So what I want to do is that I want to present some information that I've always used, and believe it or not, it's a combination of knowing Gary for as long as I have. It's a combination of listening and learning from our friend John Panarese, who is blind, able to listen to the games, and it's also a mold of Joe as well. And I want to bring you guys into my world a little bit more because, no offense, some of you were a royal pain in my butt this year. I wasn't changing my stance about this team making the playoffs. And I'm going to show you why I didn't change my stance. And this is off of, dear God, 30 years of history that I've looked up, and I've seen it in other NHL teams as well. So that's going to be on Saturday. I hope you guys can join me. Haven't figured out a time yet. It's not going to be 8 o'clock. It probably won't be 9. I'll probably do something at like 10. Okay. It's just going to be you, me, and at the end of the night, at the end of the show, I'll put a link here. If you guys want to come on, do live, come up with your questions, whatnot. Brush, you're not allowed. That's just not happening. Boyle, that's not happening either. You're not coming on. The hell with that. The ones who do not annoy me, you guys can come on. We'll have a civil conversation, absolutely, whenever you guys want. The ones who have been a royal pain in my butt this year, absolutely not. You will be grilled. You will be embarrassed. Do not come on. I won't even allow you. So come join me on Saturday. As of right now, Hershey is still winning 3-1. I almost said the Sound Tigers. If the Islanders win tonight, I will not do the show this Saturday. I will do it next Saturday. But if the Islanders season concludes tonight, I will do a show on Saturday to really wrap everything up, put a nice little bow on the season, and I'll be back at some point to cover the draft. Because let me tell you, that's a hot mess. That first round, those first 13 picks, 15 picks now, 17 picks, it's nothing but a hot mess. But we'll get into that later on. So, Gary, where can I find you?
Right here, sitting at this desk.
Right there?
Right
Fair
here.
enough.
Right
there? Okay, fine. Okay. Folks, again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for listening, watching. Please do not forget to follow Isles Talk on X at Isles Talk. Follow us and like us on Facebook. Please hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. The numbers continue to go up. It's been great. Really enjoy having these conversations with you guys. It's why we still do it. So for Andrew Gross, Gary Harding, and myself, we thank you. Have a great night. And I will see you guys, hopefully not, but maybe on Saturday. Let's go, Islanders.